So I've always had this crazy belief, and it's why I've never done so well in corporate. I've always had this crazy belief that you really get to have it all. I believe you can be extremely successful and have the relationship of your dreams and have the business of your dreams and have the life of your dreams. Like, I don't believe you need to choose one or the other. And yes, there will be seasons. There will be seasons where sometimes you're pouring more energy into your business, where you're pouring more energy into your relationship, where you're pouring more energy into your family and your structures, like all of these things. But I don't believe that you have to choose this or that. What I do believe is, from a business perspective, is you have to find a way to integrate the two, life and business, or business and relationships. Like, you have to find ways to really integrate all of the pieces into who you are. And I think what happens and why people, they kind of create these conditional, I can have that or that, is because they believe that from an identity perspective, they have to have like separate identities. They have to be separate people in those relationships. So you might be a mom in your family, but then you're a business owner here, and there is no cross integration. And that requires so much energy because you always have to be this different person. When you go to work, you've got to be a different person. When you go here, you've got to be a different person. And so a lot of people have been modeled that if they're going to grow one area, they have to go all in on that area, which means that they need to choose. They can't be all in here and then not all in there. And a lot of this has been programmed. It's like you can have this or that. Growing up, how many of you were told that it was like this or that? You can't have both. And I think growing up, there was a part of that where I was very conditioned to have like a this or that mentality, and I didn't see it really modeled. It was like you can either be happy or you can have this, or you can be that, or you can be that. But growing up and kind of like actually, as I started to build my life and as I started to create my life, I was like, where did I learn that from? Like, is that actually true? And I decided, well, I actually just don't believe that's true, and I need to go build that reality. And yes, there are times in my business where I work harder, but I am very, very, very adaptable. So one thing that I'll do just from like a business lens and from a working hard lens is if I have a day where I have lots on for that day, I just wake up earlier. Like, I'll wake up earlier. I choose to have both. And I'll be very smart with how I leverage time. So this is why sometimes where I see clients or I see people, they're like, I'm so busy, I can't do it all. I'm like, tell me what you're actually doing. And most of what they're doing is very unproductive. It's not actually leveraging time. And I think what people can struggle with sometimes is really just how to leverage and what to actually do. Because it's not just about taking action. You can take so much action and still do absolutely nothing and never actually propel yourself forward. So it's about really understanding, what are you actually doing? I think a reason why people struggle to have relationships as they build very successful businesses is for many different reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is as they evolve themselves, they don't evolve the relationship. They don't evolve the friendship. This happens with personal development, where you're evolving, but then other people don't evolve with you. And then all of a sudden, there's now distance because you've changed, but everyone else is the same. And people lose out a lot because of this, because they're like, oh, but I'm growing, or because I'm becoming successful, I can't now have both. Like, I can't now, I've got to go all in, which means I've now got to distance or separate myself from everything else. And some people will need to do that temporarily, but I just think long term it's unsustainable. I have such beautiful relationships in my life, beautiful friendships, beautiful connections with people that are very different to me. They don't think the same as me, they don't believe the same things as me. And I think the reason why is I didn't need people to change. So sometimes when we're going all in, the reason people have this like this or that mentality is it's very extremist. It's like you're either here with me or you're not, or you're either all in with me or not. And I just never needed people to change with me. One thing that I have done from a relationship perspective is I've never needed people to like understand me. I just don't need everyone to understand who I am, especially people that, my family, my sisters, my relationships. Like, I don't need people to get me all the time. So I don't need, a relationship to always be like they understand it all, because it's unfair. It's like, how can they see what I see? I don't think anyone in the world can really see what I see. I just need people to love me for who I am, the ones that are so close to me, to challenge me, to let me be my own self, to be my own human. When I speak to my youngest sister, there's a 9-year age gap, and she's just about to turn 21, which is so exciting, which means I'm just about to turn 30, which is crazy. We have these interactions, and she'll say to me, like, how's the motivational chats going? Like, that's what she thinks I do, and it's perfect. I'm just like, it's the best. It's there's a beauty to letting everyone walk their own path. And I see a lot of relationships break down because other people try to control the path. And when it comes to money, people get very attached to like how it's going to come through, the conditions in which it comes through. Growing up, you're told money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard. You have to sacrifice. You can't have it all. Money doesn't make you happy. Like, there's so much conditioning where it's like, if you want the money, then you have to work hard, which means you need to sacrifice, which means you can't have it all. Like, all of these stories. And it's like, well, where did that actually come from? Where did these stories come from? And so most people, they're building these paradigms, they're building these businesses based on these old stories. It's like, no wonder people are burning out and struggling to have it all. So I'm very strategic with how I build my business, how I support my clients in building their vision and building everything they've ever dreamt of. There's so much intentionality that goes into this. And I have an entire body of work on brand and offer creation and launching and actually designing your business that's in alignment with your life and your business. And if you want information on that, you want to go look at the Ignited Experience. It's where I have all of my things. It's the most incredible year-long mentorship container with me. But something that I really believe in is like, you have to understand the vision of your life and build that. It's like, what matters to you? What's actually important to you? Is having a relationship important to you? Is spending time with your kids important to you? Okay, well, we're not going to go build like most people are doing. We're going to set up systems. We're going to set up automations. We're going to set up different ways of you building your business. We're not going to go launch 20,000 programs. We're just going to focus on one. Like, you have to build differently. And so in order to have a life that not many people live, you have to be willing to do things a little bit different, which means that you can't go get lost in other people's visions and other people's paths and everyone else's ways. You have to be open and willing to do things a little bit different. It's like they say that you only live once. And so I'm like, well, if we're just going to live once, and it depends on what you believe in and what your background is, and what do you believe in past lives? Do you believe in reincarnation? All of these things. But I think that if you play the game, because life really is a game, it's a game that we play. But if you live this life enough, it's like it's gonna all be enough. Every day it's gonna matter to you. But you've got to decide that it matters, and you can't live your life through this conditional lens of like, I only get to have this or that. I just don't believe it. And you can choose to adopt that belief where you like question that. Who actually said that that was possible? And you might even have evidence of it, which is why it feels real. But where did you get that evidence? You got that evidence based on conditioning, then you took actions that then matched that then created more evidence, and then that built and built and built and built and built. So you get to declare for your life that you get to have it all. You get to have the wealth and the love and the happiness and the success and the dreams and the vision. It's not delusion. People are like, that's so delusional, but it's actually one of the most realistic things in the world. You look at how extraordinary the world is, and it's like, how could it not be possible for you to get to experience every edge of the world, everything that's possible? But you have to go and walk a different path. And this is the part that I think people stop themselves from. They listen to the noise and they forget to listen to what's inside of them. Every part of your life gets to matter. You don't need to choose. You don't have to choose, and people get in the choosing mentality. So what if you get to decide that today you choose a little bit different? Instead of choosing X, you choose Y. And even just starting to play with these beliefs of like, is that even true for my life? Who decided that that was true for me? You've just got to think a little bit different. You've got to open up your mind to go, okay, if I want to do this, then maybe I don't do it that way. Maybe there's a different way for me. If I want to fall in love, then I need to open myself up. I need to spend time. I need to now structure my business differently. I can't be working 120,000 hours a week. Okay, how can I be more productive? How can I leverage my time more? How can I look after myself? How can I pour into myself? And it's just like, I believe that everything strengthens me. You know, when I go travel the world, I really believe that that makes me a better entrepreneur, a better coach, a better mentor. When I take time off my business, I believe that makes me more money. I believe that makes me more intelligent, more wise. Like, I'm never feeling guilty because I know that everything in my life it's working out for me. It's just the way that my brain works, but you have to train your mind. And that starts with the decision, that starts with the deciding to actually shift what you're believing. Not because it's for some strategic thing or something that you heard online, because your life matters and because what is the dream of your life, and spend some time thinking about that. And the dream of your life, I can promise you, isn't going to be, you won't ignite it with all these conditions of like how it should be. It's like, who told you that story? Where did that even come from? You question it, you provoke it, and then you start to move a little bit differently. You start to shift how you move, start to be more productive, more intentional. You know, you start to let yourself open up even more. You open up your brain to new possibilities, new pathways. But I really believe that deep down, you know that you get to have it all. And it's just going to take a bit of time to see that come to life. And it doesn't mean that you stop the vision, you stop working so hard, you stop going all in. But this is the thing with going all in, it means it's something different to everyone. I believe that going all in doesn't mean working crazy hours all the time. It's going all in every area of my life, my health, my relationships, my dreams, my family. Like, I believe that in my lifetime, it's about going to the edge of everything that I can be. And I just always believe that it's always working out for me. So when I always believe that, then I'm always moving towards that reality. And then things are always shifting. It's just like, it just happens. And so what are you choosing to believe? What are you choosing to create in your life? And really noticing and having awareness around yourself of, is this actually true? Like, question, if you take one thing away from today, it's like, question everything. Is it true? What kind of story, what kind of life are you building? What's the vision of your life? And then being brave enough to go see who you are on the other side of this.